Let's jump right into this explainer. If there's one universal fear that literally binds all of humanity together, it's that deep, underlying anxiety about our final, unknown destination. You know what I mean, right? The sheer unpredictability of when our time on Earth is going to end, it can be completely paralyzing. It's this heavy weight we just kind of carry around quietly every single day. But what if we looked at this inevitable reality, not with dread, but with actual profound peace? What if understanding the true nature of our timeline actually freed us up to live a more beautiful life? Well, let's dive into some incredibly calming insights from Islamic teachings about destiny, time, and our true purpose.
So here is the fundamental question driving all that existential anxiety. Can death be postponed or hastened? When's it going to happen? Can I delay it? Can I somehow rush it? Look, it is completely natural to ask this stuff. We're human. We are naturally curious. And honestly, we instinctively fear the unseen and the unknown. We all kind of desperately want to feel like our hands are gripping the steering wheel of our own timeline. But here's the thing. Validating those feelings of uncertainty, that's actually step one in shifting away from fear and moving toward a place of real, calming understanding. The sources offer a metaphor that really helps this concept sink in. They say, imagine life like a long voyage on the ocean. Every ship has a final destination. Think about it. Some of us sail on super calm waters, while others are constantly battling these massive, crazy storms. Some ships stop at a dozen ports along the way, taking their sweet time, but no matter the weather, no matter the route, every single ship eventually pulls into its final harbor. Framing our passing this way really softens it, doesn't it? It's not some random drop off a cliff, it's simply a natural arrival at our predetermined port.
In Islamic teachings, that final destination is known as ajal. Ajal is the absolute, predetermined time of death decreed by Allah, which can't be advanced, delayed, or changed by any means. The sources are incredibly firm on this. This decree cannot be moved up by a single second, nor delayed by a fraction of a moment. Now I know, at first glance, that sounds a bit intimidating, but think about the massive relief hidden in that absolute certainty. It literally takes the heavy, agonizing burden of control right off your shoulders. It means your timeline is a flawless, divine decree, perfectly managed by the Creator long before you were even born.
To put this timeline into perspective, the sources often point to the number 63. 63 years is the standard lifespan of the Prophet Muhammad. Because of this, a lot of scholars suggest that any time you're granted beyond the age of 63 is essentially this incredible, precious bonus. But honestly, regardless of the specific number, the time we are given is meant to be totally maximized. The sources point out a pretty staggering contrast. You can see a 6-year-old child who's amazingly already memorized the entire Quran, while someone given 60 whole years hasn't even opened it. The absolute length of the timeline, it matters way less than what we actually do with it.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how this completely shatters our whole human illusion of control. We logically, but totally incorrectly, link sickness directly to our expiration date. But a severe medical diagnosis doesn't guarantee immediate death, and perfect health absolutely does not protect you from a sudden passing. The sources highlight that a young child with a severe illness might pass early, while a 50-year-old diagnosed with severe heart disease could survive for years and years. Death and disease, they are two entirely separate decrees.
And that brings us to a really surprising but very real scenario mentioned in the sources. Picture this. A doctor looks at a chart and gives a grim prognosis. Say, you have 2 weeks left to live. We have to remember, that is just human guesswork based on statistics. Sometimes that patient ends up living on for 2 more years. And, in a rather stunning twist of fate, the perfectly healthy doctor who gave that prognosis actually passes away first. It's a brilliant, slightly ironic way to illustrate the massive difference between our limited human estimations and Allah's absolute certainty.
So this brings up a massive question. What about prayer? Can praying change our destiny? Well, the sources clarify that while certain destinies are tied to causes, the specific moment of ajal is not one of them. You absolutely can and should pray for healing. Those prayers are incredibly powerful. They bring immense blessings, comfort, and usefulness to your life. But they cannot rewrite that fixed expiration date. Even if parents pray with tears of blood for a sick child, or someone spends every single night in deep prayer, the exact pre-written moment of ajal remains perfectly, immutably unchanged.
So if we can't change it, we really need to stop agonizing over it. The sources use this incredibly poetic phrase, do not burn the veils of qadar to see when you will die, qadar being the divine decree. Seriously, we have to stop trying to peek behind the curtain to find out our exact expiration date. It's kept secret for a really beautiful reason. Allah keeps the timeline hidden to motivate our daily actions. If we knew the exact date, we'd either be completely paralyzed by dread Or let's be real, we'd procrastinate all our good deeds until the very last minute. The mystery is actually a profound mercy.
So the crucial takeaway is that we have to shift our focus away from the fixed boundary of ajal and turn our attention to what the sources call umr. While ajal is just the raw limit of your lifespan, umr is the usefulness, the blessings, and the true success that purposefully fills the time Allah has granted us. Think of it like this. Ajal is the size of the container you've been handed, and umr is all the beautiful, valuable things you actually choose to pack inside that container. Let's look at a quick comparison. Imagine one person lives for 30 years, but every single day is packed full of good deeds, kindness, and deep spiritual connection. Another person lives for 70 years, but their life is just empty of meaning or positive impact. Which life is truly longer and more successful in the eyes of the Creator? The answer is pretty obvious, right? Quality and purpose entirely define our existence, not the sheer quantity of days we tear off a calendar. That 30-year life was overflowing with umur, making it infinitely more successful. What this all means is that we have a duty to actively use what we have, right now. The sources issue a very sharp, super modern challenge about how we use our physical health. Use your senses righteously before they close forever. If you can speak, speak kindly. If you have your eyesight, use it to read the Quran or seek beneficial knowledge. The speaker in the source asks this piercing, almost funny, but deeply true question. How often do you use your eyes to just doom scroll the news or update your social media status compared to updating your true status with Allah? Ouch, right? We've got to use our physical capabilities for ultimate good while they're still functioning.
As we reorient our focus to our daily actions, we also need to fundamentally reframe how we view the end itself. Death is not the end of everything. It's merely a gateway. This entire world is just a temporary stopover. It's like a weary traveler resting under the shade of a tree, just for a little bit, before continuing on a much longer journey. Honestly, understanding that our existence here is strictly temporary should make us way calmer. It reminds us that life isn't just random chaos. It's a designed path, and Allah is the best of planners, transitioning us from this temporary stop to a beautifully eternal home.
Because we can't control the timeline, our true agency lies entirely in our preparation. And the sources outline some highly actionable steps we are commanded to take to prepare for that eternal life. First up, improve your daily prayers. Second, aggressively guard your heart from toxic stuff like envy and jealousy. Third, apologize promptly. Seriously, don't let the sun go down on a grudge because you simply don't know if you'll see tomorrow. And fourth, constantly increase your good deeds. This simple checklist completely restores our peaceful sense of agency. We can't control when we go, but we have total control over how we pack for the trip.
And this quote brilliantly illustrates the perfect balance required in a believer's mindset. Live as if you will die tomorrow, and do good deeds as if you will live forever. Now, this doesn't mean living in a state of constant panicked anxiety, not at all. It means living with a healthy, purposeful urgency. You don't delay apologizing or doing a good deed because tomorrow isn't promised. Yet, at the exact same time, you continue building, planting, and doing good with the steady, calm patience of someone who literally has all the time in the world. It is the absolute ultimate antidote to paralyzing fear.
All right, let's wrap up with this final thought. When we stop obsessing over the hidden clock and start focusing on the quality of our actions, we align ourselves with the ultimate goal, husnul khatimah, which translates to a good ending. It is the profound peace of facing our inevitable destiny with a calm and ready heart. Knowing that every single second is held securely in the Creator's hands allows us to live fully, without arrogance when times are easy and without despair when times are hard. So I'll leave you with this to ponder today. If your ship were to pull into